Hello and welcome to vmtv. My name is Quinter Atieno. Well, ever looked at your life and felt like perhaps you could have been somewhere better and bigger? Well, that's the life of a Kenyan youth today. So we are actually going to be looking at the factors that are affecting the youth today in Kenya. So one of them is unemployment. A lot of Kenyans, actually youths, don't have jobs, and this has become a very great factor that has really affected people negatively and positively, because it has also led to so many immoralities in Kenya. Most people don't go to work, obviously, so how do they survive? That's the big question that everybody would want to know. And the big question has to get a big answer, and the big answer is a lot of people are doing so many illegal things just to survive, or rather others have, they are doing so many things just to survive. Some have gotten themselves to do odd jobs. When I talk of odd jobs, I talk of like doing some laundries for people to get paid, going to hotels to do some cleaning of utensils to get paid, while others want things the easy way. So they've I've actually decided to do some, I would say, killing of people, stealing. You want to take things illegally. Well, that's because there's no employment and people must survive and life must actually move on. So another factor we're going to be looking at is a lack of resources. When you talk of lack of resources, this is whereby the loans are not accessible, the money is not there. You want to start up your business, but then you don't know how to. You don't have the finance, you don't have the capital. So how do you go about this? That's why it's a factor. Another thing is depression. Oh my goodness, a lot of youths are depressed. You might never see this in their faces, but then it's written all over them. Just not visible, but then it's there. Depression actually has caused so many things to go wrong direction, and that's why if you looked at news recently, you saw the young man who actually stabbed his whole family, not really whole but almost whole family. And that's, you just can't wake up one morning and say, today I'm going to kill my family. Definitely there has to be a factor that is causing that to happen. So there was definitely a reason behind it that perhaps we don't know about it, that caused the young man to just kill the whole family. And that is a depression effect. And also there's a young man, actually very young, the guy is just 24 years old. He stabbed almost his whole family. Sorry, his whole family. And that's quite sad, and you definitely can't wake up one morning and just say, today I'm going to stab my whole family. So obviously there must have been something that was stressing him out. Perhaps he didn't know how to express it, or he didn't have anybody to talk to. That's why he decided to, maybe he thought that stabbing his family could be the best option actually, that he could actually show his stress, or maybe cure or heal or lower his level of stress. I don't know how to put that, but then he felt like by doing that he was perhaps solving the issue that he was having internally halfway. I don't know, but let's just hope that you don't resolve to that. If you are stressed out, make sure you reach out, talk to someone, share your issues. You could actually find someone who would be willing, hopefully, to help you out. Another factor we're going to be looking at is lack of education and training. What do I mean? When I say lack of education and training, it doesn't necessarily mean that you never went to school. Or, okay, it somehow means you never went to school, okay? You never went to school, so you don't have the knowledge, the skills that you may need to actually survive. But also it means perhaps you went to school, but then there are this, how do you, if you want to start up your business, you need this loan. How do you get that loan? You don't have that knowledge, right? So that's what I'm trying also to bring across. You have the knowledge, you went to school, but then you don't have the knowledge on how to get some of these how to access some of these materials or accessories that you may need to help you through with your life. So lack of education and training also can be a bit hectic. So when I talk of training, actually I mean perhaps you have a skill, you can do something. Maybe you can, let's say you are a salonist, you want to start up a salon business, but then you don't have the knowledge, you haven't gone through that training of how to do this thing. So you just can't say that you'll wake up one morning and have everything by yourself or under control. You definitely have to go through some process. Perhaps someone has to teach you on how to do the ABCD. If you want to start up a business, which location is the best for you? So there are some factors that actually you have to learn through somebody else or through another source. So these are the things that the youths are lacking, and I wish if we could get them, trust you me, Kenya would be a better place. Because if you have, like they always say, knowledge is power. So if you have the knowledge, then trust you me, nothing is difficult or impossible to do. So another factor we're going to be looking at is crime and drugs. Crime and drugs actually, I would say, comes under unemployment, because an idle mind obviously is the devil's workshop. So when you are idle, that's when you think of the bad things to do to keep you busy. But when you are busy doing the positive things, trust me, you will never think of doing the wrong things. So a lot of youths, they don't have work, they don't have jobs. That's where you find them. They have formed groups, peer groups actually, and now the peer groups are not coming in a positive ways, because whatever discussions they're having there, whatever things they're doing under those groups, only them can understand. But we've seen the results. Normally the results are usually negative, because they don't discuss the positive things. So most of them have actually started using drugs, because some of the peers there are using drugs. So they feel like, if I do drugs, maybe actually there's this myth that they always say, when you take too much of alcohol, you'll find yourself relaxed and you'll come to realize that, oh, today my day is good. But not knowing that when you wake up tomorrow, after taking that alcohol last night, you wake up tomorrow, there's always this thing called, hangover. Hangover, you wake up, you have headaches, you don't even think. But then when you sober up, you'll realize that your stress is still there. You didn't actually solve anything. So to all our youths, actually, wherever you're watching us from, make sure you don't resolve to doing drugs. It doesn't help a thing. Actually, it worsens the situation, because you take drugs in the name of it's going to help you curb the problem you are having. But then you wake up tomorrow, the problem is still there. So you see, it's a zero work kind of a thing. So don't do drugs in the name of you trying to solve your problem. Just make sure you do the right things. Hustle in a positive way, and you'll always sort things out instead of doing drugs, because it will always affect you. And of course, we've all seen the effects of drugs. There are so many. It has led to death. It has led to, very vital diseases that some are curable, some are not. So you don't want to go that path. So make sure whatever you do the right thing, and you'll always find the right solutions for your problem. Another factor that we're going to be looking at is low spiritual commitment. What do I mean by this? When I say low spiritual commitment, I mean you have to make sure you know your God. Make sure you pray. By the way, in this life, if you don't believe, if you don't have a faith, if you don't have a belief, nothing will ever work for you. So make sure that whatever you do, you have God first in whatever, whether it's a business you want to start, whether it's a trip you want to go to, whether it's just anything you want to do, it's a school you want to start learning, make sure you know God. Make sure you pray for it, pray over it, so that things can work out of the best way you want to. If you don't pray, things will never work out for you in the best way you want to. So that's also a factor. Don't just ignore it. Without God, nothing is possible. But with God, everything that feels impossible is possible. So keep that in mind. Also, another factor that we are going to look at that is really affecting, and actually I feel like this is the main factor that is affecting the youth right now, is poverty. What do I mean by poverty? When I say poverty, I'm talking about lack of. I don't want to be specific about lack of what, but it's lack of something. Lack of the things that you wish you had. You want to start up. Let me stick to the business part. You want to start up a business, but then you don't have the resources. Actually, I would say that is like poverty. You want to go to school, you can't afford the school fees. That is lack of something. You don't have the school fees. So lack of poverty is actually not having something you wish you had. So if you don't have it, it means it's kind of gonna hinder you. It's going to hinder you in a way, because you now can't do whatever it is, the plans you had, the plans you had, the wishes you wish, the things you wish you had done. You can't do them because you don't have something, because you lack something. So poverty is a very vital factor to me, in my opinion. Actually, I don't know what you think about this, but dear viewers, you can always communicate to us, you can always talk to us and tell us what you think, what you feel, and we will always definitely get back to you also as well. So because this, remember, is a platform where we get to interact. You talk to us, we talk to you, and of course we help each other out. So poverty is a very key, but then you don't need to like give up or dwell on the fact that you don't have. If you don't have this, you have options. Why not try this other option? Why not try this? It could work out for you. So don't just stay there and say, oh, I'm poor, I can't afford this. If you can't afford this, there's also an option B. Actually, under this, I would say, let's talk of business-wise. You want to start up a business, perhaps a business that needs 5K, and you have maybe, let's say, 500. What can you do with this amount? You can start up something that doesn't require much capital that you initially wanted. You can start small. They always say start small as you grow, slowly by slowly or step by step. So you have 500 with you. Why not start selling mayai? A lot of people look down upon some businesses, but then that's never a solution. You don't need to choose businesses when starting. So start small. Chukua hii 500 yako. Am I allowed to use Kiswahili? You don't need to look down on any kind of businesses. Chukua hii 500 yako. Just go down, nunua mayai. It's only 300 per tray. Boil them. If you sell, you're going to be selling each at 200 shillings. So that means you're going to make 600 shillings out of 300 that you used as your initial capital. So 600 shillings, if you can decide and say, I'm going to be saving 200 per day for every sales, every profit that I make, 200 is going to be my saving. So the other 400 that's left. So like they always say, kidogo kidogo hujaza kibaba. Start small, do the savings, and then you will realize that you have just done yourself a very great favor. For example, buy some eggs. Tray is only 300 shillings. And if you sell the whole tray, it's going to give you actually 600, because every egg, boiled egg, is sold at 20 shillings, right? And you bought it, let's say, at 10 shillings, because tray is 300, so you get 600. If you decide you want to grow, of course, so you can decide and say 200 is going to be my saving for every single day. That's your profit, definitely. So every single day you're going to be saving 200 shillings. When you have 200 shillings with you, you can target the amount that you want to start up that big business that you perhaps were targeting before. So there's no excuse, there's no room for saying, I'm poor, I can't afford this, I'm poor, I can't do this. No. If you wanted to start up a salon and the capital doesn't allow you, start up with something else that requires a smaller amount to start with, and then do the saving, okay? That's the only area you need to concentrate on. So when you concentrate on that, there will be no term as there is poverty, so I can't do this. definitely. So I hope you take that at home. And we are also now going to be looking at the next factor. And this factor actually is on, I would say, wasanii. Do you have a talent? Do you have an art? Do you love drawing? Do you love singing? Do you love acting? Call them. You know, there's so much in the art industry that actually... Do you love acting, singing, dancing, drawing, you name it, whichever talent that you could be having, well, that's good for you. But actually now, this is where now the factor comes in, where youths in Kenya with talents are not supported. You know, okay, it's not actually coming from me, but you also, during the pandemic period, there was this amount that was to be set aside for the youths. Well, I wouldn't say I know where it went to or what happened to it. I don't want to talk about that, okay? But then you all saw that it never happened. It never came to reality. And that's where this comes in as a problem. Youths are not supported in Kenya. Talent is not supported in Kenya. So it's upon you as a youth with your own talent to just work your own way out through the industry. Maybe, just maybe, in future you could probably get lucky. But then before that time comes that you are now lucky, you always have to struggle down here. And that's where we're saying, Kenyan government, you really need to do something. You really need to support the Kenyan talent, because there's so much talent. And if you are keen enough, trust you me, this talent could actually build Kenya. You can look at other countries. Look at Nigeria, for example. Acting is a big thing to them. They are supported. If you have a movie, irregardless of what type of movie, there's that money set aside for this. So what's happening in Kenya? The youths are struggling. Ukiwa huku kwa ground, when in msanii, you have your song, you're an upcoming. Actually, I think that's why there's this upcoming kind of a thing, because kuna hadi your difference, kuna wale wenye hawajaomoka na kuna wenye wameomoka. So in Kenya, if you don't have, but anyway, if you don't have, let me say, the finance, I would say usi give up, usi lose hope. We already know there's no support, but now it's upon you as an individual. Work your way out. Venye tulisema, start hustling, kidogo kidogo, saving, kidogo kidogo. Take yourself to the studio. There's YouTube. YouTube actually haichagui ati umeomoka ama haujaomoka. If you're doing some great music, some great stuff, YouTube will always pay you once umefikisha the required, target. I learned to understand that it's 1,000 subscribers, you have to reach that. So make sure you work your way out before the world, wanasemanga, intro starts with you. It's you ujijenge kwanza. Tell us who you are. Build that action. So when you're doing great stuff, your work will always tell you. Let's take a look at an example of a lady by the name, of course you all know her. She danced to a TikTok song, and now we all seeing her on screen. Aziad Nasenye. She is a very perfect example. We never knew her before she danced to that TikTok challenge. But then when she did that, everybody knew her, and now everybody wants her to be into, whatever platforms, whatever things they're doing. Now she's all over, she's all over. You can see her on your screens. Let me just summarize it by saying she is all over. So in other words, my point is, if you're doing great stuff, you don't need to hustle or bustle your way out to sell yourself. People will always look for you. So make sure you're doing quality things. So kama wewe ni msanii uko hapa underground, usi lose hope, usi give up. Make sure umengangana, usave dough enough, go to a studio. Make sure kama ni video, it's a quality video. Sell it, tembeza, sorry, not sell it, but itembeze. Usingoje eti umetoa song, umetoa video, sasa uko nayo tu iko hapo kwa simu, unangojanga tu siku good luck ita come through. No way, there's no shortcut. Make sure ukisha sort kazi yako, it's ready, it embezzled. These radio stations, they're looking for good things. These television stations, they're looking for good things. And actually, you can start by coming to us hapa hivi kwa VMTV, and we will always give you that platform that you need. And also remember, if you want to talk to us at the number 0717022869, and we will always get back to you ASAP. When I say ASAP, as soon as possible. So I was your host, Quinter Atieno, and remember, today we were tackling the factors affecting the youth. And next time also make sure you tune in, because we will be talking about something different. You just may never know what it is, so make sure you stay tuned so that you don't miss on anything. Till next time, I was your host, Quinter Atieno. Bye.